Right, it's just.
I'm gonna call the town council meeting of April the 2nd, 2024 to order. Madam Clerk, please call the roll.
Councilman Peterson. Councilman Pete,
Here.
Councilman Fields,
Here.
Councilman Brown,
Present.
Chair Pro Tem Miles,
Present.
Vice Mayor Nickerson,
Here.
Mayor Wood.
Present. All right, we will have our prayer today by Pastor Alfred Hanson Sackley of the Church of Pentecost. Please come forward and lead us.
Good evening, everyone. Shall we please bow our heads for a short word of prayer? And so, dear Lord, this evening we want to thank you for this gathering. We pray, committing our meeting into your hands. We ask that may you take total control over everything that we will discuss tonight. We pray you help us to get to a good understanding and a good consensus in everything we do. In Jesus' name we pray. Amen.
Man. All right. Please stand as we recite the Pledge of Allegiance. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. All right. All right, next on our agenda is the adoption of the agenda.
Mr. Mayor.
Chair
Yeah, I actually have a few amendments to the agenda that I would like to propose.
Okay.
First amendment being under awards and proclamation, I noticed that I have three autism proclamations. I just wanted to see if we could switch F and C. So just to keep everything tidy.
Okay.
Additionally, the public hearing concerning the ordinance authorizing the code of conduct. It was advertised in error, and I've consulted with the attorney, and we do not need to hold a public hearing. I would ask that if we could move that item to the consent agenda, whereas we've already had a meeting and we've already had discussion with that. So if we could do that.
Okay.
And I would also like to ask if we could move the consent agenda up before awards and proclamation. So we could move the consent agenda from 9 to number 4. Does that make sense?
Okay. And I'm gonna take off the comp statement just to make a statement on it. I'll put that down to this action so we can vote on it.
Okay.
Anybody else? Madam Town Manager, did you have anything?
No.
Okay. All right. So the motion, I'll make a motion that we adopt the agenda as amended.
Second.
Discussion? Okay. All right, seeing no discussion, Madam Clerk, please call for the question.
Councilmember Pete,
Remember all of that.
Yes.
Councilmember Fields,
Yes.
Councilmember Brown,
Aye.
Chair Pro Tem Miles,
Aye.
Vice Mayor Nickerson,
Yes.
Mayor Wood.
Yes.
Motion's passed.
All right, so next on our agenda is the consent agenda.
Mr. Mayor, I move that we approve the consent agenda.
I second it. All right, it's been motioned and second. Any discussion on the consent agenda? Seeing none, Madam Clerk, please call for the question.
Councilmember Pete,
Yes.
Councilmember Fields.
Yes.
Councilmember Brown,
Aye.
Chair Pro Tem Miles,
Aye.
Vice Mayor Nickerson,
Yes.
Mayor Wood.
Yes.
Motion's passed.
All right. Now on our agenda is the awards and proclamations. I start with you, Chair Pro Tem, to go through yours.
Thank you so much, Mayor. So I want to start off by saying to everyone, Happy World Autism Awareness Day. Today is Lighted Up Blue today. Today we shine light on awareness, and we appreciate and we accept those that have autism. And in doing so, I'm going to be honoring several organizations for their work for individuals on the spectrum and the leaps and bounds that they've made. The first organization I'm going to highlight is Melwood. What it came to my attention is that those of us that are in the special needs bubble, a lot of times people aren't aware of the work that we're doing and the leaps that we've made and how we're actually impacting everyday life. So I want to make sure we stop living in this secluded area and we shine light on those that are doing the work that are really changing the scope of how we see individuals with disabilities and with autism and how we go forward. So this proclamation will go as follows. If I can, get this to scroll right. Okay. It's the operator. Whereas autism is a pervasive developmental disorder affecting the social, communication, and behavioral skills of those affected by it. And whereas as more health professionals become proficient in diagnosing autism, more children are being diagnosed on the autism spectrum, resulting in rates as high as 1 in 36 children. And whereas while there is no cure for autism, it is well documented that if individuals with autism receive treatment as early in their lives, it often possible for those individuals to lead significantly improved lives. And whereas individuals with autism often require a lifetime of specialized and community support services to ensure their health and safety and to support families' resilience as they manage the psychological and financial burdens autism presents. And whereas Melwood's vision is a world that fully includes people with disabilities, excuse me. And whereas Melwood inspires trust through personal and professional leadership, honesty in their relationships, decisions consistent with their values, and individual accountability for their actions. And whereas Melwood advocates for and empowers people with disabilities by expanding opportunities to work and thrive in the community. And whereas Melwood is a model for other organizations by providing programs and services that exceed the expectations of the individuals and businesses they serve, their staff, as well as licensing and certification standards. And whereas in 2008, the United Nations General Assembly designated April 2nd Autism Awareness Day, with April being Autism Awareness Month. And whereas in 2021, the Autism Society of America, along with self-advocates, called for a shift away from the awareness label by stating that awareness is not enough. As a society, we have moved beyond the act of informing about autism and highlighting differences between people. It is more important than ever to focus on the understanding and inclusion of diverse individuals within our communities. And whereas in 2021, the autism community began to celebrate Autism Acceptance Month with an ultimate goal of autism appreciation. And in 2023, the town of Dumfries proclaimed autism as Autism Appreciation Month in response to the work of self-advocates. Now, therefore, the town of Dumfries Council do hereby proclaim April as Autism Appreciation Month and urge the residents of our community, the communities across the country, to appreciate the autism community. Be it further proclaimed that the town of Dumfries, Virginia, does hereby commend Melwood for their commitment to creating opportunities that enrich the lives of people with autism and call upon citizens to recognize and celebrate the vital role Melwood plays in empowering the autism community. In witness thereof, and hereby set to hand raised by the cell of the town of Dumfries by the order of the town council signed by Mayor Derek Wood. And at this time, I'm going to ask the representatives from Melwood to step up for a picture, please.
Yeah, but you should be, you should be the journalism. I can say that. Oh, yeah. Thank you. We're not rushing the diet.
That brings a tear to my eye to think about autism appreciation, how far we've come and how far we still have to go. Good evening. My name is Larissa Couts. I'm the president and CEO of Melwood, a leading employer, advocate, and service provider for people with disabilities here in the DMV. I'm also the mom of a child with autism spectrum disorder. For more than 60 years, Melwood has been working towards our vision of a world where people with disabilities, including people with autism, are fully included and accepted. Foundational to this work are community partnerships that we forge with other like-minded organizations, businesses, and local governments here in the DMV, including the town of Dumfries. By working together, we have truly been able to change lives. Today's proclamation symbolizes the impact that we're having together in the lives of people with disabilities here in Dumfries and beyond, including people like Valerie Thompson. Valerie is just one of the more than 5 million adults with autism in the US today. She was diagnosed with it later in life, and like so many people with this disability, faced significant barriers to the life-affirming opportunities that many of us take for granted, like access to affordable transportation, stable housing, and good jobs. Valerie looked for work that interested her. She landed interviews, but she struggled to get hired. She spent years working part-time at a job that didn't interest or challenge her. She struggled to provide for her family and to find the kind of career that was satisfying and meaningful until she came to Melwood. It was through Melwood's AbilIT program where Valerie found her footing. AbilIT is Melwood's solution to the growing demand for entry-level tech staff in the computer science industry. By combining soft skills training with technical instruction, AbilIT prepares people with autism and other neurodevelopmental conditions for careers in the IT and tech fields. It's a program that wouldn't exist without support and partnership from this community. I'm proud to report that Valerie graduated from AbilIT in 2022. She passed her certifications and, with additional assistance from Melwood and our partners, accepted a full-time position in the field of her dreams. Today, Valerie is working as a digital analyst at Nickelodeon Paramount and loving it. Her story is just one of many that exemplifies the overlooked potential of people with autism and the life-changing power that organizations like Melwood offer when we partner with and receive support from communities like Dumfries. On behalf of Melwood and all of the people that we support, I thank you. I thank the town of Dumfries and Honorable Chair Pro Tem Salonia Miles for this proclamation and recognition of the incredible work that's happening to support people with autism here in Dumfries and throughout our region. Thank you for making our vision part of your future and for your recognition of Autism Appreciation Month.
Thank you, Mr. Mayor.
I can make a comment before you start, please.
Oh, yeah.
To Melwood, thank you so much. I know everyone is say thank you, but I will say this. I work as a federal contractor in the federal government. I'm not going to name the agencies that I've worked with and currently, but the Melwood personnel at these agencies are phenomenal. Absolutely phenomenal. They are a part of our team. We see them on a daily basis, regular basis, and they do their job. And I make it my point to definitely speak and say hi when some people just walk by and say nothing. So it really touches my heart to see them working so diligently and hard, and just a joy to be at work at these wonderful institutions. Thank you.
Thank you. And actually, before I move on, and I know President Knox did not highlight this, but one thing that I really love and admire about Melwood, and I'm very proud of, is that Melwood focuses on inclusion, the inclusion aspect. It's not about segregation and having people with disabilities and autism in different areas where they're by themselves. It's about getting general population, people that don't have those challenges, integrated with people with disabilities the way it should be. So Melwood has not focused on that. And because of their work, they've inspired, really set the map for how we should see those with disabilities, and how we, have partnerships. It's inspired what we even see in the school system, where children with disabilities are no longer in a special school. They're in their local public school as they should be. So I just wanted to shed light on that, but I'm going to stop because the mayor's giving me the evil over here. So our next recipient is the Training Alumni Association, which is a partnership with the Virginia Board for People with Disabilities. The Virginia Board for People with Disabilities advocates for individuals with disabilities and for inclusion and fighting the same fight that we're all fighting. But as part of their fight, they actually have training programs. And after training programs, alumni actually form a group where they continue to advocate. And TAA has really gone some leaps and bounds, and they've changed policy in the Commonwealth of Virginia, and they're local advocates in the community. I'm pleased that they're here virtually with us tonight because they're off advocating as always. But I do have this proclamation for them just in honor of their work, because TAA is another one of those organizations that they're moving in silence, but they're making huge differences throughout our Commonwealth. So I will, without further ado, proceed as follows. Whereas the Virginia Board for People with Disabilities advocates for better services and supports for the disability community and makes sure that people with developmental disabilities and their families have what they need to live their best lives. And whereas as part of the commitment to fulfilling its mission through advocacy, the Virginia Board for People with Disabilities provides training programs and partners with alumni to continue to meet the needs of the disability community. And whereas TAA is an organization designed to facilitate grassroots advocacy on behalf of Virginians with disabilities to advance systems change, and whereas TAA is composed of advocates, leaders, and change makers who have passions for inclusion, equity, being part of a community life, and alumni use their lived experience to create solutions for today that will improve the future. And whereas TAA's advocacy has addressed systemic barriers by working with members of the Virginia General Assembly to successfully update policies to include the disability community. And whereas TAA has been praised for its groundbreaking series that educates and informs participants in the Commonwealth on diversity, equity, and inclusion and the intersection of race, socioeconomic status, gender, LGBTQ+, and disability justice. And whereas in 2008, the United Nations General Assembly designated April 2nd Autism Awareness Day with April Brian Autism Awareness Month. And whereas in 2021, the autism community began to celebrate Autism Acceptance Month with an ultimate goal of autism appreciation in 2023, the town of Dumfries proclaimed April as Autism Appreciation Month in response to the work of self-advocates. And whereas Chair Pro Tem Miles is a longtime champion for disabilities and a patron of this proclamation, now therefore, the Dumfries Town Council do hereby proclaim April as Autism Appreciation Month and urge the residents of our community and communities across the country to appreciate the autism community. Be it further proclaimed that the town of Dumfries, Virginia does hereby commend the TAA for their commitment to ensuring that the dignity and rights of each person be protected and promoted with the utmost care, and calls upon citizens to recognize and celebrate TAA for their outstanding contributions. And witness thereof and sign in hand and cause the seal of the town of Dumfries to be affixed the second day of April, signed by the order of the town council by Mayor Derek Wood. And they are with us virtually. I believe Ms. Gerrymander is on the screen. Hey, Christy. And if she could say a few words, we could give her the floor.
Thank you. Thank you, Pro Tem Chair Miles. I want to say thank you to Mayor Wood and Vice Mayor Nickerson and all the town council members, but more importantly, to the town of Dumfries for your recognition of the work that continues to be done and that we continue to work towards, is empowering individuals and advocating for services. I just want to thank you for this distinguished honor on behalf of the Virginia Board for People with Disabilities and the Training Alumni Development Program. Thank you very much. Thank you.
Thank you. And Ms. Mayor, I have one final proclamation, and this proclamation is for the director of the Virginia Board for People with Disabilities Training and Alumni Program. And that this proclamation is going to Dr. Sweetenberg-Lee. And I will, without further ado, I'm going to read as follows. Whereas Dr. Sweetenberg-Lee received a bachelor's in mass communication, specializing in speech, along with a minor in theater arts at Hampton University, a master's in education administration from National University of San Diego, a master and a doctorate Doctorate of Divinity from the Samuel DeWitt Proctor School of Theology at Virginia Union University, and is a highly sought-after speaker and teacher who travels extensively around the world delivering messages of hope. And whereas Dr. Sweetenberg Lee serves as the Director of Training and Alumni Development Programs for the Virginia Board for People with Disabilities, where she provides leadership and supervision of the Youth Leadership Academy, the Partners in Policymaking Program, and the Alumni Development Program. And whereas Dr. Sweetenberg Lee receives international recognition for her work as an educator, administrator, workshop presenter, motivational speaker, promoter, evangelist, and she is an impactful advocate for marginalized, disenfranchised communities, as well as disability communities around the world. And whereas in 2008, the United Nations General Assembly designed April 2nd, Autism Awareness Day, with April being Autism Awareness Month. And whereas in 2021, the autism community began to celebrate Autism Acceptance Month with an ultimate goal of autism appreciation. And in 2023, the Dumfries Town Council proclaimed April as Autism Appreciation Month in response to the work of self-advocates. Now, therefore, the Dumfries Town Council do hereby proclaim April as Autism Appreciation Month and urge the residents of our community, the communities across the country, to appreciate the autism community. Be it further proclaimed that the town of Dumfries, Virginia does hereby commend the TAA and Dr. Penny for their commitment to ensuring that the dignity and rights of each person be protected and promoted with the utmost care, and calls upon citizens to celebrate Dr. Penny Sweetenberg Lee for her outstanding contributions. In witness thereof, I've hereunto set my hand and cause the seal of the town of Dumfries to be affixed the second day of April 2024 by the order of the town council signed by Mayor Derek Wood. Now, I've read the proclamation, but I'm gonna take a moment of privilege and I'm gonna tell y'all about Dr. Penny, as I affectionately call her. Dr. Penny is actually one of my mentors, and I'm a graduate of the Partners in Policymaking Program. Dr. Penny has mentored almost every advocate for disability awareness in the Commonwealth of Virginia, to include Prince William County. We've all come through that program, and what makes it unique is that you have all the tools that you need to get the answers you need, and it actually teaches you how to advocate, what agency is responsible for what, and how you can get the best results. And it's because of her leadership and her pouring into us as her students that we're able to go into TAA and change policy in the General Assembly. So I can't get enough of Dr. Penny. Dr. Penny has been a major influence to myself and many people that we know here in Prince William County. So without further ado, I'm going to turn the floor over to Dr. Penny, who I call her, I said Dr. Sweetenberg Lee, but her students call her Dr. Penny, so I can't help myself. So I'm going to turn it over to Dr. Penny to say a few words with us.
If we can help somebody as we pass along, if we can cheer somebody with a word or song, if we can show one somebody he or she is traveling wrong, then our living shall not be in vain. Good evening to the town of Dumfries and to you outstanding leaders. I can't tell you how excited I am to see the dais and to see who you are. And I have been cheering you on ever since Councilwoman Salonia Miles became a member of the town council. You guys inspire us. On behalf of Virginia Board for People with Disabilities, the Developmental Disabilities Council for the Commonwealth of Virginia, and certainly personally on behalf of myself as I serve in the role as Director of Training and Alumni Development Programs, thank you so very much for this honor tonight. Somewhere I heard it's just nice to be nice. And I heard and grew up with, you know, every now and then, the work that we do, we need to be affirmed. And so I want to congratulate you, the town council, for taking time out of your very, very, very busy agenda, I know tonight, to allow these proclamations to be read publicly and allow us to respond. I am indebted for the acknowledgement. Councilwoman Salonia Miles, Chair Pro Tem, thank you so much for thinking of both Christine Jeremiah and myself and allowing us to be acknowledged in your wonderful town council meeting tonight. May God continue to bless your work, each of you, and strengthen you for the journey that is ahead. God bless.
Vice Mayor, the floor is yours.
Wow, what an act to follow. Thank you. So April is National Poetry Month as well. And I have two proclamations on the agenda, one of which the town of Dumfries recognizes and proclaims that April is National Poetry Month. The other of which is where I want to present National Poetry Month proclamation to Ms. Kim B. Miller. So I will read the proclamation for Ms. Miller. National Poetry Month proclamation recognizing poet Kim B. Miller. Whereas the Academy of American Poets established the month of April as National Poetry Month in 1996, and whereas National Poetry Month seeks to highlight the extraordinary legacy and ongoing achievement of American poets, introduced Americans to the pleasures and benefits of reading poetry, bring poets and poetry to the public in immediate and innovative ways, and make poetry an important part of our children's education. And whereas poetry, as an essential part of the arts and humanities, affects every aspect of life in America today, including education, the economy, and community pride and development. And whereas poetry has produced some of the nation's leading creative artists and has inspired other artists in fields such as music, theater, film, dance, and visual arts. And whereas Kim B. Miller is Prince William County, City of Manassas, and City of Manassas Park, Virginia, Poet Laureate Emerita, and the first African-American Poet Laureate for the region. And whereas Kim Miller is the 2021, 22, and 23 DMV Renaissance Award Haikuist of the Year, she was also awarded the Vivian H. Hansberry Award for Trailblazing a Path for Women in the Field of Creative Arts 2021 and 2023, DMV Best Business Award in the category of Arts and Entertainment, and 2019 Southern Fried Haiku Champion, which is the Southern Fried Poetry Slam and one of the largest spoken word and performance poetry tournaments in the world. And whereas Miss Miller's poems have been published in the African American and African Voices magazines, which is an international haiku anthology, a DC newspaper, a hunger anthology, several websites and books. She also performed at the National Black Theater in New York, the Atlas Performing Arts Center, Washington, DC, Ashford and Simpson's Sugar Bar, New York, University of Pikeville, Kentucky, La Pena Cultural Center, California, and many other venues, too many to announce. And whereas in 2023, she was a keynote speaker at the 2023 Rappahannock Writers Conference at Germanna College, at the 2023 Journal of Curriculum Theorizing Annual Conference in Ohio. And in 2024, she was a keynote speaker at the Town of Dumfries Black History Program, which was not her first speaking engagement for the Town of Dumfries. Whereas Vice Mayor Monet Nickerson champions the profound impact of poetry in celebrating and elevating the human spirit and enriching the lives of citizens across our nation. Now, therefore, the Dumfries Town Council do hereby proclaim April 2024 as National Poetry Month and call upon public officials, educators, librarians, and all the people of the town of Dumfries to observe this month to celebrate the cultural riches our community has to offer and recognize the important role poetry in creating and sustaining this great nation with appropriate ceremonies, activities, and programs. Be it further proclaimed that the town of Dumfries, Virginia, do hereby recognize Kim B. Miller for her commitment to creating opportunities and showing citizens a different aspect of poetry, spoken word, haiku, and Black poets. In witness whereof I have hereunto set my hand and caused the seal of the town of Dumfries to be affixed the second day of April 2024 by order of the town council, signed by our mayor, Derek R. Wood. Ms. Miller, please come receive your proclamation.
See y'all trying to trip me over here. First of all, thank you so much, Vice Mayor Nickerson, and for all of you for recognizing poetry, because we are the last horse over the artistic fence. I say that to say when people have events, they automatically think, let me get a singer, let me get an artist. Oh, I have a few minutes, let me throw a poet in. And poetry is not a last minute thought. We are the inspirers. We are the ones you quote at night. We are the ones who remind you of what you could be. We are the ones who remind you that that ex of yours needs to be an ex of yours. We're the ones who remind you what love is and what love isn't. And sometimes we are forgotten. Poetry has so many different realms, and I really want to break down the difference between poetry and spoken word poetry, and then I definitely have to do some poems because y'all would kill me. So poems are medicinal and people speak in their own language. Poets in general read their poems. They just read them. There's absolutely nothing wrong with the poet. There's enough competition in the world. Poets don't have to fight amongst ourselves, even though we do. Spoken word poets are supposed to say it in a way to make you feel their poetry. So a spoken word poet is going to say it with inference. They're going to say it different. And I fell in love with haiku because they were different and they were finite. I was not a finite poet. I was never going to write a haiku. It was not enough space to say anything, or so I thought. And then I took the challenge, and ever since then, I've been writing haiku. So I'll do a few haiku and get out of your way. First, I'll explain what they are. Haiku is beautiful Japanese poetry. That part will never change. Traditional ones will never change. It'll always be only on nature. The ones I focus on are non-traditional ones. I do write traditional as well, but I love non-traditional ones. Non-traditional ones are still 17 syllables, but can be any subject. I say haiku before each one just because I like it. So, haiku. Look at y'all, all right. Believe silence. When people do not answer you, they did answer you. Haiku. Just because they're in your nest, that does not mean they want to see you fly. Haiku. There's no such thing as the right time, but there is a time you make right. Haiku. God made you a bright light. Don't you dare install a dimmer. It won't work. Haiku. You are not a walking mistake. You're an undiscovered miracle. Of course, I have to throw in a funny one. Haiku. Stop blaming men for having baggage when you have a storage unit. Shots fired, I know. I'll end with my most requested haiku, and has become one of my favorites. Yes, poets have favorites too. So haiku. They thought they broke you, but you are a glow stick. They just exposed your light. Don't let anybody define your greatness. When you give your pen away, you give your power away too. Find good things about you, you will find what you seek. So if you only find negativity, that's what you were looking for. Poetry is a symphony. Don't put us all in the same band.
Vice Mayor? Oh, you don't just.
Thank you.
we have, what we had on the agenda? Boy, them haikus are always powerful, good food for thought. She's been coming to us now for almost 10 years, doing our Black History programs. And so we always thank you. You know, we got a whole decade of work of her coming over here. So we thank you for your friendship to the town of Dumfries, for your dedication, and your constantly stretching our minds to the point where it can't return to its original shape. We have one more proclamation. Is Prince William Beautiful here? Did anybody from Prince William Beautiful? It's Earth Day. And so we'll honor Earth Day. I don't have to read if nobody's here. Good. Well, it's Earth Day this month, and we'll be having a cleanup. So it's our opportunity to invite you all out on Saturday at what time? At 9 a.m. right here at Town Hall for Earth Day for cleanup. So we'll see you there. All right. So we'll move on to the next item on the agenda, which is the approval of our minutes from our March 19th meeting.
Mayor, I move that we approve the minutes for March 19th.
Second.
All right, it's been moved and it's been second. Any discussion?
I have the discussion for the minutes, please.
Okay, Vice Mayor.
I'd like to address the attorney, please. I have a question about the minutes. Madam Attorney? In the meeting minutes, there is reference to I don't have them, I'm sorry, I didn't open them in front of me, so I'm gonna go by memory here. So in the meeting minutes, there's a reference to the public hearing our last meeting where we were talking about the recreation department. And during the public hearing, there was a reference to comments. And when asked where the comments came from, the mayor made reference to citizen comments that I believe he read from his phone. So my question is, what is the protocol around that? Are comments from citizens to be made public via sharing with all council members? In the past, when a citizen wanted to share comments for public hearing, they would email us, or they are instructed to share them with the clerk. So is it appropriate for a council member to have comments from their phone, from a personal device that no one else is privy to? And if such is the case, are they allowed for public record to be captured in the comments of the public record for the hearing?
Well, thank you for that question, Madam Vice Mayor. I haven't had a chance to look at what our regulations are, but absent there being a provision for comments to be made in advance in writing via email or some other form other than the commenter or individual presenting themselves physically before the body, typically those are not considered as part of the record.
Okay.
But again, there wasn't an opportunity for me to look at that question specifically before this meeting, and I'm happy to do that and report further on it later. But if we do not have anything in place that provides for the submission of comments in advance, then I would just say that those were superfluous comments, and how this council votes to deal with them will control the situation. But as, you know, just sort of as a standard, I would just say those were just comments from the mayor.
Thank you. Considering the town attorney's response, I move that we strike those comments from the meeting minutes pertaining to the public hearing.
I think we just take her name off and just put my name on it. I didn't give a name. Until she asked.
When you were asked, you did provide a name, and therefore I think those comments are relevant to the public hearing and they shouldn't be included. Secondhand, either way, they shouldn't be included. So my motion.
I'm going to second that motion of
Thank you.
Vice Mayor.
All right, so is that a counter motion? How do we, because there's a motion on the floor. The first motion was to adopt the minutes, and now we're in discussion. So do you want to ask for an amendment to the motion?
Yes, so my amendment to the motion is that the minutes are amended with the strikeout of those comments.
Who made the motion in the second, Madam Clerk?
Councilman Pete made the motion. It was seconded by Chair Pro Tem.
Okay. All right.
Mr. Mayor, I move that we remove the,
What, you just want to accept the amendment?
correct.
Okay. Yeah. All right. The motion has been amended. All right, any further discussion? All right, seeing none, Madam Clerk, call for the,
Councilmember Pete,
Yes.
Councilmember Fields,
Yes.
Councilmember Brown,
Aye.
Chair Pro Tem Miles,
Aye.
Vice Mayor Nickerson,
Yes.
Mayor Wood.
yes.
Motion's passed.
All right, next on our agenda is citizen comment period. Are there any citizens signed up to speak?
Yes, we have one person that signed up to speak. I'm sorry if I pronounced this wrong. Neville Torre.
That's close.
Okay, thank you.
Good evening, council. Neville Teray, 18138 Tabbs Lane, Dumfries, Virginia, 22026. So why a lot of people come to the dais and they have complaints and things like this, I rise before you to give a kudos to Officer Robertson, who on one of my days commuting to work, he was standing at 234 in the middle of the street. It was pouring down raining because the lights were out of order. And he had a smile on his face and he was directing us because there's no way we would have made that turn coming off of Route 1 onto 234 if someone had not been there to intervene. So I'm just here to say kudos, and always in my line of work, we want to give props to those who go over and beyond. So thank you so much.
Madam Clerk, is anybody else signed up?
No more comments.
All right. All right, now is council comments. Councilman Fields.
We're gonna make it brief. Happy spring, everyone. And definitely April has started off, as we say, April showers bring May flowers. So I hope the flowers hurry up and come. But be safe and enjoy your spring. And we have a lot of events in the future to look forward to coming up. Just check your website, check the calendar, and see what we have coming up and come out and participate. Thank you.
All right, Councilman Pete.
Thank you, Mr. Mayor. I would just encourage all the citizens, just got one comment. I just want to encourage all the citizens to, that are within the town of Dumfries and surrounding community areas. If you could tune into the Dumfries Citizens Connect in your Play Store, hit the 3-bar icon on the top left corner and create your account. It's real quick. It takes maybe like, real quick minute and a half to install this app. It's a way to help you help citizens in surrounding communities be able to see the current events that are going on, be able to view the budget. And one of my favorites, if you would like to volunteer for any of the town's events, there's a application bar there also that you can utilize. So again, if you can all tune in to go to the Play Store and download the Dumfries Citizens Connect. 3-bar icon on the top left, create your account and tune in. That would be appreciated. Thank you much. That's all, man.
Chair Pro Tem.
Thank you, Mr. Mayor. I just have one comment. Want to remind everyone or tell all the citizens to save the date. April 28th is going to be our second annual Autism Appreciation Day event. So it's a family fun day. Nothing too light, just a good opportunity. It's very inclusive for families and children with autism to come out and have a good time. We look forward to we'll have another petting zoo, and we'll have more face painting and things like that. So more information to follow.
Vice Mayor.
Thank you. So first I want to start by taking a moment while we are talking about Autism Appreciation Month to recognize my colleague, Pro Tem Miles. I know you weren't expecting this, but while you were giving out proclamations to the different organizations and recognizing Dr. Penny for the work that she's done by cultivating the advocates and being one of our students, I want to recognize you for the work that you do, because as long as I've known you, you have been a staunch advocate for autism. And Dr. Penny, I don't know if she's still watching, but I want her to know that the seed that she's cultivated in you is paying off. Because I've watched you advocate, and I see you now cultivating those seeds back into the community, because Pro Tem Miles has agreed to mentor my son. He is 11. Excuse me, and he is autistic. And he has a relationship with Pro Tem, and she has been a mentor to him. And I don't even think she realizes how much she's mentored him. And he's asked her to help him to be an advocate because he sees the work that she does. And that just goes to show, one of the things I've always said from this dais is, it's not about accolades, it's about impact. And what she's doing is making an impact. And that's what we're here for. And she epitomizes that. So I want to thank you for the work that you're doing and encourage you to keep doing it, because I know it gets hard. I know we have hard days, we have bad days, but keep doing what you're doing because you're making a difference. You're showing Dr. Penny that her work has paid off, and the seeds that you're cultivating and the young people like my son, I guarantee you. So keep doing what you're doing, sis, and I appreciate you. Okay, all right. Now, that did not go according to plan, obviously. Okay, back to work. So I also wanted to give some announcements. Okay, so the town of Dumfries and the Rose will host a job fair tomorrow, April 3rd, from 10 to 4. And on April 17th from 10 to 4 in the Jeff Simpson Community and Cultural Arts Center, which is right here across the parking lot in the town of Dumfries. The Rose will have 700 employment opportunities. The town of Dumfries Police Department will also provide information on employment opportunities within the department. So you can check our Facebook page for that and find more information. So tell a friend, bring a friend, show up. We have jobs here in Dumfries. And for our communities that are close by, we're talking about jobs in a walkable distance that are paying above minimum wage right now. So like I said, tell a friend, bring a friend, go get a job. Also, Comprehensive Plan Update Open House. The town of Dumfries is also hosting a Comprehensive Plan Update Community Drop-In Open House on Saturday, October 20th from 10 a.m. to 2 p.m. during the Dumfries Farmers Market at 17757 Main Street, Dumfries. The rain location will be the community center also across the parking lot. The comprehensive plan is the official statement of the town's vision for its future. It expresses the Dumfries community's aspirations and goals while defining a corresponding set of policies and recommendations to guide future decisions regarding land use development and capital improvements. So help us define the future of Dumfries. Like I always say, don't just complain, contribute. Here is your opportunity to contribute. So please show up and let your voice be heard. You can also take an online survey, which will be open from April 20th through May 19th and give you an opportunity to share your ideas and your vision for our future. Last but not least, April 27th, we will host our 3rd annual expungement clinic here in the town of Dumfries. The information is circulating out on all of our social media platforms. The expungement clinic will be an opportunity for us to right some mistakes that may have been made in the past. There are people who may not even know that you need to have a record expunged. And so be on the lookout for some additional information to come out. Of course, the thing about expungement records is that you may have had a run-in with the law and you may think that your record is clear because your case was null prost or your case was dismissed. and you may be getting turned down for jobs or other opportunities, and you don't know that it's still showing up in your background. So we're going to put some more information out there to let you know how you can figure out whether or not you're being impacted by some information on your record that you don't even know is haunting you. And this expungement clinic is going to be put in place to help you. And we know that it helps people. And you just have to pre-register for it. Pre-registration will close on the 15th for the clinic to take place on the 27th. And we are sponsoring the first several people to sign up for it. So take advantage of the opportunities that we are presenting for you all. Don't just complain, contribute, get involved, and we're here to help. I yield, sir. Thank you.
Just clarity, the date of the comprehensive plan, because you said October. It's
October?
You did.
Oh, my goodness. Okay, I'm sorry. I have a grandbaby coming in October. That's why October's on the brain. So sorry, April. Yes, thank
Okay.
you for that.
April, not October. All right. Oh, and Councilman Brown, sorry, did you have any comments?
Just a few, Mayor. Thank you, Vice Mayor. You kind of hit several points that I was going to make.
Okay.
There are about 600 jobs that the Rose is going to be bringing to the town of Dumfries. Please come out and apply. I think they're doing interviews on the spot. If you're not there, if you don't apply, I know for sure you won't get a job at the Rose. So just make sure you get out, talk to your friends, neighbors, make sure they get out and apply for these jobs. These are walking distance, bicycle distance, and you don't have to deal with 95 traffic. So this is a win-win for you. So make sure you get out. Also, Vice Mayor mentioned the farmer's market. Last year, we did pretty decent here. We had the farmers bringing in fruits and vegetables. We had soap, folks selling soaps and those type items. We really want you to come. This was put in place by one of our former councilwomen, Sydney Neville. And it was because she said that it was a food desert. So we're trying to make those things available for the community, but we need support from the community. So we're bringing people in to sell product. Please come out. I think I missed probably three weekends last year. So I'm trying to support. I need your help. I need you to come out so we can get these vendors to come back and make it bigger and bigger every year. Last thing and not so nice thing, I always talk about the parks and your pets. So I have a big dog and I always carry a plastic bag with me. And the parks that I walk my dog through, I'm finding a lot of waste. That's not something the town should be responsible as a pet owner. If you own a dog, take care of the dog. And I'll leave it at that. Thank you, Mayor.
Thank you, Councilman Brown, for that reminder. April truly indeed is already off to a fast start, and we already 2 days in. We've heard some great sentiments on some proclamations, and there are a few more. I just want to highlight some other interests. It's National Card and Letter Writing Month. For those who have gotten outside the art of actually writing. I know they don't even teach cursive anymore. It's a perfect time to really celebrate that personal connection and the warmth that comes from giving somebody a handwritten message. It's also, to Councilman Brown's point, April is National Lawn Care Month. So it underscores the value and place on our environment and our green spaces. And I thank the Green Council for allowing me to come sit in on their Green Council environmental biases this year. It also, Lawn Care Month reminds us of the importance of maintaining and nurturing all the lawns and parks, contributing to the beauty and sustainability of our town. We also have this new thing now that's gotten real popular, and I know a lot of people want it. It's National Pickleball Month. It's a testament to the growing enthusiasm of that sport. I think I just got invited to a pickleball tournament over at the Palazzo Building. I'm just okay, that's interesting. So it's an excellent opportunity for community members to engage in a lot of physical activity and healthy competition. It's School Library Month as well. For those who like going in, it highlights the crucial role that libraries and librarians play in education ecosystem. Libraries are the hubs of knowledge and creativity that transforms our minds. And so, and then the last two is National Sexual Assault Awareness and Prevention Month. It's an observation to call up against action sexual violence, advocating for respect, safety, and support for all the survivors. And it's National Minority Health Month, a time to raise awareness about the health disparities that continue to affect racial and ethnic minority population and the work towards achieving health equity. Now, in great anticipation and excitement, I want to extend a heartfelt invitation to each of you to join us in celebrating our 275th anniversary of our charter. The 275th Charter Anniversary Gala is set to take place on Friday, May the 10th. We're about a little over a month away from that at the National Marine Corps Museum. It's an opportunity for us to come together as a community to honor our journey, to celebrate our achievements, and to envision the path that lies ahead. I'm delighted to announce that on our website, the tickets for this celebration are available. Simply visit www.dumfriesva.gov. I think that's a / Dumfries 275. Or you just click on the little home link and there's a drop down box for Dumfries 275. This is an invitation to be a part of this once in a lifetime gathering. I'm calling upon everyone who has been a part of this Dumfries story, whether you served on a council, you served on a board, a commission, you participate in any of our events, if you worked for the town, or you've been a part of our community's transformation over the 275 years, we want you to join us. Together, we're going to rediscover the essence of the town of Dumfries. Again, go to www.dumfriesva.gov / Dumfries 275 to get your tickets. All right. As always, I encourage you to participate as we prepare for our budget public hearing that's coming up soon. Please email, solicit your questions, provide your feedback. This is your budget. Your input is invaluable as we work to create a budget that reflects the community's needs and priorities. And lastly, I end with my favorite poem, a quote from my favorite poem for poetry by Langston Hughes titled As I Grew Older. And Langston starts out with, it was a long time ago. I had almost forgotten my dream, but it was there in front of me, bright like the sun, my dream. And then this wall rose. It slowly rise until it touched the sky. It was this wall. And so Langston talks about in that poem our collective dreams, and it reminds me of the collective vision that we as a council have created through our strategic planning process for a town of Dumfries that has a vibrant Main Street with an active citizens and a well-managed government. And that vision remains vivid in spite of everything. These aspirations, like the first line of Langston Hughes' poem, reminds us that even distant dreams has a place in our present actions. Together, let's remember to pursue those dreams, making Dumfries a place where people just don't drive through, but a place that people drive to. All right, and that takes us to our reports and presentations. So, yeah, we'll take a quick 10-minute stretch break.
Your hair looks cute. Oh, thank you. I gotta go home and finish some training on my mind. Lord, I'm not, I don't wanna do, I hate, those types of classes. I appreciate you showing up to give a compliment, because most people don't. No, you know, I'm like.
You wait, he done made us lie. All right, welcome back. Hopefully everybody's well stretched. All right, next on our agenda is our update on the proposed FY 2024-2025 all funds budget. We'll have our Chief Financial Officer. The floor is yours, ma'am.
Mr. Mayor, if I may, Town manager, before we get started, I would like to ask if the two organizations that were recommended from the grants in our previous meeting, our last meeting, did they meet the proper requirements?
We were able to receive information from Generation Boilers. However, we did not receive any information from Party Crank.
Okay, with that information, Mr. Mayor, given that was provided, I would like to remove the Party Crank from the non-departmental funding line item.
Okay, so we're gonna, once we get to that particular part of the budget, then make a motion to remove it out once we get to that department.
Will do.
All right.
Good evening, Mayor, Vice Mayor, members of council. So we have the second week in March, we did the council one-on-ones. And then the following week, 11th and 12th, we did the community budget meetings. We have also been through the proposed operating budget for fiscal year 24-25. To the page real quick. With total revenues and expenses of $11,072,340. The last changes that were made to the proposed budget was the adoption of the two additional nonprofit, non-departmentals of $7,500 apiece.
Okay.
A question. Oh, go ahead. Go ahead.
Councilman Fields?
Okay, so can you repeat what you just said about the 7,500?
The last council meeting we had, Councilman Pete proposed that they add the 7,500 each for generational boilers and Party Crank. And that was the last amendment that was done to the proposed budget for 24-25.
Okay, so as of right now, that's coming off the budget, correct?
Just one is coming from the non-departmental, but the only thing we're going to do, we're not changing the final numbers. The numbers are going to stay structurally balanced. So the only thing we'll do is remove it from non-departmental and put it back from where we took it from originally, which was contingency. Sorry, that was me.
Okay, so going forward, has anything else changed?
No, sir. You now have the completed actual budget book that lists all of the personnel salaries and verbiage that will be presented to GFOA.
Okay, so being that nothing else has changed since now and then, other than to waste your time, I'd like to make a motion that we accept it as it is and no need to go forward with the presentation. I mean, we're just saying the same thing you said last time.
Yes,
So I
sir.
make a motion that we conclude this at this time.
Second.
Okay, it's been motioned and second. All right, discussion. All right, I have discussion
Okay, yes, sir.
and questions.
Okay.
All right. My discussion and is on the and I got some of the answers already, but it's just on that page 65. The performance measures.
Mm-hmm.
And I wanted to make some recommendations.
Sure.
The update to, I don't know which department. To establish performance metrics and key performance indicators to measure. To add that goal so these is goal statements to add from the strategic plan. For in the areas of economic development, to give us a plan or strategy to attract new businesses, fostering job growth and enhancing the local economy. some type of, state and the town manager can work to however you want to craft that in the thing.
Point of order.
We're in discussion right now. What is your order point
There is a motion on the floor.
in this discussion?
You want to make changes, there's motion on the floor. Let's ask for clarification from the town attorney.
Yes, sir, Mr. Mayor. The motion on the floor was to discontinue the discussion that was seconded, and the discussion is whether you are in support of that motion or not in support of that motion. So we're speaking to the motion, not so much to the substance of the report. You could say, the reason I'm not in support of the motion is because, and then you can get into some of the details, but you're speaking to the motion that's pending.
All right. So the motion as is, I wouldn't support it because of the following reasons that I'm gonna continue stating. Okay, in economic development, wanted a goal to have a strategy for attracting new businesses and fostering just some, so we got a measurement. I know we all had, or there was issues with the current contracts for economic development. So if we kind of have a goal, so when we look at the economic development department, I know it's right now, it's just listed as 7 days. The only goal we really got is a turn policy.
Point of order again.
Mr. Fields?
You're making suggestions, not bullet points related to my motion. You're making suggestions. That is not part of my motion.
Okay, I finished giving the reasons why I don't support the motion. Okay. right.
Reasons, not suggestions.
Reasons, all right. Would like to see some performance measures that include things from the strategic plan. All right, Madam Clerk, any other discussion on it? And then we can call for the question.
Ms. Mayor, I just wanted to indicate that this will be the time we need to make the motion regarding the change to the no, okay, sorry. Disregard.
Call for the question? And repeat the motion on the floor?
The motion, as was stated, was to conclude the proposed 2024-2025 all funds budget discussion.
Okay, call for the.
Point of order.
What's the motion on the floor?
The motion was to conclude at this time the proposed 2024-2025 all funds budget with no discussion.
Okay, with no discussion. All right, what's your point?
We did have a motion prior to the conversation. I know we withdrew, because of procedures, Councilman Pete withdrew it. And I would ask, how do we proceed with that motion now? Like with his request, how do we?
He can amend his budget,
I'll say my motion.
We didn't include it.
Yeah, let's go ahead and include to my motion, the removal of the $7,500 to the, what's the name of the party crank crew? Or organization, rather.
Second.
With the amendment, second? Okay, thank you.
All right, any further discussion? All right, please repeat the motion.
The motion is to conclude the proposed 2024-2025 all funds budget with the removal of the party crank organization of the $7,500 from the budget.
All right, call for the question.
Councilmember Pete,
Yes.
Councilmember Fields,
Yes.
Councilmember Brown,
No.
Chair Pro Tem Miles,
Aye.
Vice Mayor Nickerson,
Yes.
Mayor Wood.
No.
Motion's passed.
All right, next on the agenda is the class comp study. All right, so I just pulled that off just to make a statement to talk about it before we vote on it, to just say that the things that I didn't mention the last time that I wanted that I did, the consultant was there, is
the total compensation. When we did comparison, we didn't do a total compensation. One of the things that the town of Dumfries does that none of the other localities that we were compared to is we provide 100% employee-funded healthcare, which takes us up a little bit more on our total compensation. And so I just wanted to make sure that was noted in the report that we do have a total compensation package versus that. And with that said, I'll make a motion that we approve the total compensation study.
Second.
Okay, any discussion on the total compensation study? Vice Mayor?
I'd like to say that the professionals who presented the total comp review, they did mention that we do have a very healthy compensation package and it was taken into consideration. I specifically remember them speaking about that and it being taken into consideration. So I just want to state that for the record.
Any other discussion? All right, seeing none, would you call for the question? Yes, ma'am.
When you do your motion, can you put to accept the resolution as well, since we have it attached to the agenda?
Yes,
Thank you.
to accept the resolution as well.
Yep.
Who had the second?
Chairperson.
Okay. All right, any further discussion? All right, seeing Councilman Pete?
Absolutely.
Oh, no, I thought you had a question. You,
Oh, no.
Madam Clerk, call for the question.
Councilman Pete,
Absolutely.
Councilman Fields,
Yes.
Councilman Brown,
No.
Chair Pro Tem Miles,
Aye.
Vice Mayor Nickerson,
Yes.
Mayor Wood.
Yes.
Motion's passed.
And we've already moved the public hearing to the consent agenda. I think at this time, the meeting is adjourned.